Yes guys, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing All or Nothing episode 2. Last time out we were joined by Max, and today we've got young Sam Chipek. Welcome to the channel.
Obviously, young Sam Chipek, I'm older than you, mate.
It's all right, it's all right. I'm bigging you up. We're still young, We'll keep it. But obviously another fellow offsider here to review the second episode, All or Nothing. I just want to ask you very quickly before we start, how have you been finding the series recently?
To be honest, I was very nervous before the series first started, because obviously, you've watched stuff like Sunderland Till I Die, which, was a big laughing stock to the club. And then obviously you've got existing channels like United Stand and Arsenal Fan TV, which is Marmite. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and some people think that's a huge laughing stock. But on the contrary, I don't think these episodes have been a laughing stock at all. In fact, they've been rather a very educational thing to watch as a Tottenham fan, I would say. Of course, the portrayal of Levy, you might change your mind about Levy, but it is only showing good things about Levy, to be honest. So it's like, I feel like those bits are slightly cherry-picked. But having said that, if you are a Jose Mourinho hater, I think that factor is a lot more strong to make you want to change your mind about him.
100%.
Which I guess we will go into as we go and dissect what happened in episode 2.
For sure, man, for sure. And guys, if you're watching this and you're new here, make sure to press that red subscribe button to turn it grey, because, Spurs fans, we don't really want to see much red round here, all right? So make sure to subscribe, leave a like as well, and I'll drop episode 3 with another YouTuber. But also, another quick warning, this is spoiler alert territory, all right? We're going to go in depth on everything that's happened in this episode. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it on Amazon, come back, watch I'll talk about it, see if you agree and whatnot. But as a very, very quick breakdown of what happens in this episode, since you've had your warning, we start off with the West Ham game, Mourinho's first game in charge. Once we go through the West Ham game, there's more about Aurier, just as a player, interviewing him. Then it goes on to Jose having a conversation with Dyer, having a one-to-one with Eric Dyer. Then we move on to the Olympiacos at home game in the Champions League. And then we have a bit more one-to-one, but this time it is with Dele Alli. And then finally we have the Bournemouth game. So that is kind of the quick rundown of what happens in this episode. And I think we're going to go pretty much bit by bit now and kind of just discuss every part and see what you think of it as well, Sam. And I said, we start with the West Ham game.
Just before they show the West Ham game, it's obviously a press conference with Jose Mourinho. It's his first game in charge that he's barely got even any time. I think it's within 2 or 3 days of announcement that he's a new manager, he's got a game underway, and this is the day before. And then a journalist sort of asks him a question about is it a betrayal for Tottenham fans to have an ex-Chelsea manager? And then Mourinho's response is, the betrayal is, I won 3 leagues for them and they sacked me. And I liked his further answer, saying, I'm not Mr. If you want to call me Mr. Chelsea, why don't you also call me Mr. Inter, Mr. Real Madrid, Mr. Man United? The truth is that you should see me as Mr. Club, not Mr. Chelsea.
Exactly. He's been all over the place and won all over the place as well. And I think, to be honest with you, he's showing every single episode what a character he is. We already knew it from seeing press conferences, but I didn't quite realise how funny he is after seeing some of his conversations with the players in just even these first 2 episodes, let alone the rest of it. I mean, God knows what else is to come in the next few. And funny enough, like you said, it happened that week. He became our manager. Then the match happened. I literally flew back from Australia after hearing the news, landed at 6 in the morning and went to that West Ham game, which was at 12:30. We're travelling, I think, 26 hours no sleep, which was a bit of a, considering we just sacked our manager of 5.5 years, that was a bit, my mind was scrambled, I can't lie.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I do think one of the best things about that game, and I think you'll agree as well, is Dele's cheeky little, when he fell on the floor on the byline and all the West Ham
Mourinho
fans
was screaming, "It's your goal, that's your goal."
I thought that was amazing. But I loved it when the West Ham fans were kind of laughing at him, thinking he fell over, and then boom, assist, goal, 2-0. That was
you of all people would love it more because of your extreme hatred for West Ham.
I hate West Ham. I don't know why. I don't know why. They just get on my nerves so bad. It gets to me. I can't lie. It gets to me. All right. But yeah, one thing I want to pick your brain with as well, which I think this is kind of aiming at a lot of the, I guess, Mourinho haters and what people think he stands for. At halftime, right, we were leading 2-0. That goal just happened. I think the halftime chat kind of shocked a lot of people for what like people's perceptions of Mourinho is, because for those of you that may have forgotten or whatever, he was basically saying that let's go kill the game. He was saying we're not going to go out there and just defend the 2-0, because in the Premier League, if it's 2-0 in the 85th minute, the game's not finished. He said we're going to go out and kill the game. He said we're not going to concede, but we're going to score more. Which I think a lot of people that are anti-Mourinho just think, all right, if we're 2-0 up at halftime, he's just going to completely park the bus. And that's it. And that's clearly not the case from day one. He's instilling, no, we're going to go kill the game, because the Premier League is just, you can't be sitting on a 2-0 lead. And we saw that by the fact that West Ham actually scored 2 goals in the second half. And obviously, luckily, we went 3-0 up in the first place. But yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on that whole, what people think of him.
Well, it's pretty obvious when you look at the previous episode. Mourinho is a self-critic, but he doesn't like to listen to other critics, which is why he told the guy to F off and turned the TV off.
Yep.
So it's quite clear that Mourinho has had a lot of thinking to do, because he's had months and months since he was a manager of Man United and then becomes a manager of Tottenham, and then says basically, right, there's changes that need to be made, and quite clearly he was bursting to make those changes. And it just comes in handy when he said himself that twice in his career he has had to take over a club when the season's already started, and for the same occasion that club is struggling. So clearly when you make a decision like that to pick a team, you cannot experiment. You don't have time to experiment with your traditional tactics, because when you have a pre-season and stuff like that, you need to do something reactive and quickly and get it done. And that's exactly what we were seeing in the changing rooms. You know, there was no time for the traditional style of football Mourinho was comfortable with. He wanted to be more basic about it, which is score more goals, and then therefore your winning chances are going to be a lot higher. Exactly. Whether the players had the ability to do it or not is another story. But that is what Jose Mourinho originally wanted. You know, he wanted Aurier to go further up. He wanted... wait, I might be getting mixed up. No. He said that for West Ham as well. He wanted Aurier to go further up. He wanted Son to be more in the box when Aurier goes further up. So it's clear to see, you know, if you're a Mourinho hater based on, you know, dinosaur tactics, my question is, what dinosaur tactics are you specifically referring to? Because to me, it looks more like a dinosaur that's adapting to the times.
He's playing, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing, is counter-attacking football. And let's not forget, that's how Leicester won the league. Leicester won the league that way. Like, hardly many teams have won the league just by controlling all possession. I think Man City's like, it's a rare occasion, because obviously like the Pep playing like kind of tiki-taka football. Even if you look at Mourinho when he was managing Inter and all those kind of teams, like they weren't always just free-flowing attacking football. It was sometimes very rigid, and it worked quite clearly. So
tiki-taka football's pretty much come to an end though, since Barcelona were thumped by Bayern Munich 8-2. Just kind of proved that, you know, you don't need to win games by tiki-taka football.
No, you just need to be efficient, and Bayern Munich have shown that in everything.
Efficient, physical strength, attributes-wise. It's why really with Tottenham, you know, under Pochettino, we did control possession a lot, but still lost games, because I feel like it's partly down to the players not having the ability to see the game out.
Yeah.
But also because
I don't think we had the experience in some of the players. A lot of the players we brought through, it wasn't really like, they didn't know how to finish off the game because they weren't really bred into it. And we're seeing Mourinho bringing in winners. And
also on a neutral perspective, when you're not focusing on a manager or a team for anything, for any player, it's pretty difficult to try and see a game out the whole time, to be so pedantic with keeping possession. You know, just do it the simple way.
Yeah, there's very few teams in the world that can do that as well. Yeah. Very few teams, and it's been drilled into them mainly by Pep, to be honest. But like, it's a lot rarer than people think. And as pretty as it may look, it's not winning your games or trophies. So Yeah, but anyway, there's no one there. I think that the next bit to focus on in the episode is they do a bit more about Josie. I think he comes across as a nice guy, and a bit on Levy where he's saying he wants the club to come across as caring, and as part of that they kind of roll into the fact that Aurier went to visit a local school in Tottenham, to kind of give back. And throughout this whole little segment about Aurier, I don't know about you, but he comes across as just really, really humble and quite nice, because he's talking about his upbringings in France and the fact that he came from like a really, really poor area in Paris, that some of his friends he knows ended up in prison, and he said he could have easily have gone down that route if he wasn't in the football scene. And I think he just comes across a lot nicer and a lot more humble than people may think of him, which is,
to be honest with you, sorry.
No, carry on, go.
No, to be honest with you, I was just surprised with how decent Aurier's English was, because
me too, actually.
I've seen him bottle out of interviews before saying, Sissoko, you go and speak to them, I don't want to speak in English. Stuff like that. Too. I mean, I don't understand French, but I did understand. I remember he said that on camera against, I think it was against Southport, when he scored 2 goals. And yeah, I was just astounded, pleasantly astounded, that, he's clearly adapted into living here and learning.
He comes
the
across
language.
quite well spoken as well. It's not just the fact that he can speak the language. He's actually, like, in terms of his vocabulary, like the way he just comes across, I think is just really quite intelligent, to be honest with you. The way
I mean,
at
the end of the day, I think any footballer is intelligent, because you've got to have brains to be able to play in such an elite level of football, regardless of how good you are as a footballer. But, I mean, obviously, of course, it wasn't fluent English, but it was definitely confidently spoken, had his go-to vocabulary in his mind, and was able to actually answer to a conversation and not hesitate while speaking. So, I was pretty surprised by that, yeah.
Do you reckon like he's kind of changed his perception from some people? Like, do you think some fans would kind of liken to him a bit more now? Because obviously, there's no denying it. A lot of fans are quite anti-Aurier right now, especially.
Well, that's the thing. This is the thing. Like, a lot of, I mean, okay, I'm not going to lie. Of course, I'm going to get surprised, because we as football fans only see the players when they're playing on the pitch.
The 90 minutes, pretty much.
The 90 minutes, and also when they have to speak in an interview in a very filtered environment, which is why I like this episode a lot. It's not filtered. Harry Kane swearing, a lot of fans just saying, oh my God, Harry Kane is swearing.
I think, just very quickly on that, I think that just is mad. It just shows how good, in a way, the media training is, and what our perceptions can be just off of social media, by the fact that Kane swearing in a halftime team talk blows people's minds. Like, it blew my mind, because you're just not used to it. It's not what you see in interviews. It's not what you see on social media yet. You just get this whole new sense of the player, but just because of like actually seeing what they're like in real life.
But what I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't be surprised by this, because they are actually, believe it or not, even anyone who's got, the chromosomes, skin cells, human DNA is a human. So they're normal people with normal lives that happen to be, compromised under the public eye, because they happen to be playing in the eyes of one of the most popular sports in the world, and the most popular sport in the country. So
I mean, I'm surprised they don't do it more often. We know how much we all rage when playing like FIFA or something like that, let alone actually doing this as your career and like having eyes on you all the time. Like, it's a tough thing, man.
I feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like footballers are just dehumanized in the sense that we only see them as footballers, but they are human beings too. And this is what this series is reminding us. Harry Kane is swearing. Aurier does some keepy uppies and accidentally knocks a drink over Jose Mourinho's shoes. That
actually happened early in this episode. That was pretty...
Yeah, they're normal
what an
people,
introduction.
Is what I'm trying to say, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Not wrong at all. But
so we shouldn't be surprised by it.
No, definitely
but we are, because we don't see it. That's what it is.
And this is why I think this series is definitely, like you said, it's really good. It's total eye-opener for so many fans to actually see how people behave, because at the end of the day, like you said, they are human, and they're going to behave that way. And like we shouldn't be... I remember some people were like saying... I actually saw a comment saying that Kane should be more professional, and I'm like, hello, this is a half-time team in your job. It's fine. Like, it's just natural, man. I don't understand some of these people, but
honestly, I think people would actually just go into a breakdown if they see Harry Kane go into an offie and fill in lottery or place a bet or something like that. They're just all normal people.
God.
Let them, especially when Danny Rose was having a pint in bloody Ali Pali.
When he's doing, the darts and stuff like that. It's just, like, come on, man. They're just enjoying themselves.
He's going to burn it off in the training session the next day anyway. It's not the end of the world if he has a... Yeah, let's move on, I think.
Anyway, next thing in the episode is more of a one-to-one. Now, this is between Mourinho and Dyer, obviously both speaking Portuguese for most of this one-to-one. So make sure, if you haven't seen already, have the subtitles on, because I made that mistake.
Very crucial.
I made that mistake in the first episode, listening to him in Sacramento talking, and I was like, I don't know what they're saying. Where are the subtitles? But little did I know you have to actually press the the actual ones on to see them. But yeah, I think the main thing that I saw from this is that, like, Mourinho obviously instantly grew to Dyer. You can see it in the way he was talking throughout the episode. He's called him one of the only players that actually isn't afraid of conflict on the pitch. And it was seen by the fact that he wanted to buy him when he was manager of Man United.
Yeah, he pretty much confirmed that. I mean, it was confirmed before in a live stream anyway, when Dyer was bantering Kyle Walker, I think, for leaving for Man City. And Walker said back to him, yeah, but you wanted to go to United. And then the live stream just closed like that.
Yeah.
So... yeah, it was that conversation was very interesting, because it was once again sort of throwing the legacy of Poch under the bus a bit about how he was treated. I mean, don't get me wrong, by the way, because I've been in contact with a sports journalist before who always talks with Eric Dyer, and he has described him as one of the most balanced-minded, pleasant, and fairly intelligent footballers of the bunch he normally interviews. And Dyer was Dyer is very aware that his ability has not been good enough lately. It's also been a mixture of illnesses. But he was highlighting that the key issue under Pochettino was recovery time when you come back from an injury. And
that's one of the main things I noted down.
Had a conversation. I mean, Mourinho said to him, if you're still grieving about... No, not grieving. Bloody hell, he's not dead. If you're still missing Pochettino of his absence, that's absolutely fine. But don't feel like, you can't tell me. Just tell me what it was like under Pochettino, so I can get to a better understing of how to
why he wasn't chosen and things like that. Yeah, I think that's the main context for some people, is that it was the fact that Mourinho was trying to get at why he wasn't selected as much under Pochettino. Like you said again, it was with the recovery. He wasn't happy with the fact that every time a player was injured, Pochettino would take a long time to bring the players back into the first team. He would say it's like a long recovery period, which I think I guess Mourinho is trying to integrate that a lot quicker when players come out of injury. But I just
found that conversation interesting, like I said, because it was just exposing the legacy of Poch, of how he treated some players, basically.
Yeah, I do think we all sometimes have, I've done it before. I love Poch to bits, but again, like we were saying before about the media and how our perception of people, we don't really know the truth behind it. And so far, the annoying thing is, most of the Poch stuff that we've seen in the series in the first episodes has been quite negative from what they've been talking about. It's been quite negative,
but if I've got to be honest with you, even before watching this series, don't get me wrong, I've loved what Poch has done, but I think it's fair to say I am done living in the past of looking back to those days where Pochettino was our manager. If I've got to be completely honest with you, and that even though you've stated yourself it only focuses on the negative, well, it's kind of like very few positives on Pochettino's last moments at Tottenham.
Yeah, that's probably why. The build-up
this kind of confirmed it. Watching it has kind of confirmed for me now that it's sort of like not to make this sound deep, it's finally getting to grips where you don't need to think about your ex anymore.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So
definitely, it did feel like a breakup at the time. So you're not wrong with that analogy.
And once you've actually finally got over it, move on. You've got your bit of closure. Yeah, that's it. I've got my closure from the Pochettino sacking from watching that.
I think you're right. That's all we have to do. We have to look forward. We've got a new manager and we have to look forward. It's a whole new era at Spurs right now. But moving on. Next up is the next game, and it is Olympiacos at home in the Champions League. Obviously, we drew the away leg, as we saw in the first episode. And I think the most hitting thing in this was I believe this was the pre-match talk. It was Jose calling out Serge Aurier, calling him a shit marker, and that and he's worried that he'll give away a shit penalty. Now I know us fans call him out on it, But I was actually blown away that this is pre-match, and he's like, Aurier, like, I'm worried that you're going to give away a shit penalty and you're a shit marker. And I was honestly sitting there like, what the? He just said that to his face.
Mate, I was sitting here when I saw that, and I was literally moving forward like that from my chair. Like, no, that was literally like he just read a tweet of what a Spurs fan would say and just read that out to his face. And I'm like, bloody hell, I knew you were ruthless, but I didn't think you were that ruthless. Bloody hell.
Mate, it was a madness seeing that. But again, as we were talking about earlier and what he was saying to the players in terms of his tactics, he told the players before the game to play free. And this is not like everyone's got this whole mindset on Mourinho that he plays just this rigid football, parking the bus. But this is his first 2 games. He's told them to take him by the throat and score more goals. And before the Olympiacos game, he said play free. Like play free, like basically free flowing, just get the goals and make the right passes. So I genuinely do think everyone's got the wrong perception of him. Totally, I think
it's just an agenda.
Adapting.
Like they don't want to like
or it's
Mourinho.
an agenda. I think that's the case with him because he's such a big, like international superstar. Really, he's going to have haters at the end of the day, and I think it's one of them ones people are just going to hate him regardless of what what they see of him. So sometimes you just can't change people's minds, which is
First half, remember watching that game, being 2-0 down. You start. I remember as a fan, you start to think, what has Mourinho signed himself up for?
Yeah,
and then,
or was this like the right choice bringing him in?
Yeah,
people were questioning.
Terrible defending, but then they had a terrible set piece moment, and Delhi managed to get 2-1. And what I was particularly surprised about was when they went into the changing rooms, they were like, right, Mourinho is going to start screaming at everyone in the face. That's what I was expecting. But instead, what I saw was an unpleasant form of calm voice. Like, I can't explain it, but do you know sometimes...
It was almost scary.
When you had that unpredictable teacher in school who would, like, you don't know when they're going to start screaming at you when they start telling you off.
Yeah.
That's what it was like.
Yeah, he was trying to calm the players, and he said, calm down. And I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, shit.
He's going to scream.
He's going to go, But let's not forget as well, he subbed Dyer off in the 29th minute of this game.
Yeah.
Second game in charge.
I felt
first
sorry
game
for
in
Dyer.
charge.
I felt sorry for him there. Like, Dyer looked like he was not going to cry, but he looked
in like a typical YouTube edit when like you slow zoom in and everything just turns black and white. I feel like that's what we were just seeing him like looking like this. Just like in the change rooms while everyone was talking, and he just looked honestly so down. But yeah, the next thing he says at the halftime that they need to be more aggressive, and he told Serge to go out wide. And even Serge brought up the fact that, so we were saying like, why is Serge, sometimes like fans will say, why is Serge attacking so much? Why is he up there? He's not tracking back enough. Well, he brought that up himself. Mourinho told him to press and go further out wide up top, and he brought up saying, well, I don't have the cover. And then everyone in the changing room was saying, well, no, Winksy will drop in, or they said someone will, Sissoko, whoever would drop in. So he basically told him to go right wing and go at it. And look what happened in the second half. The miracle ball boy, the best ball boy I think the world's ever seen, passes him the ball straight away, takes the throw and gets the goal. And even Aurier himself scores after Mourinho's tactic talk at half time. And we end up turning the game completely around to 4-2. So
I mentioned about that in my episode 2 preview, which I'm still editing at the moment, which, bit of a plug-in, but anyway.
Go check it out.
Mourinho, just go and check it out, but I don't want to take this away from you. Mourinho was a ball boy himself, and that's why he really admired what he saw. He thinks that a ball boy is one of the most important things in football, even if you're not directly involved. But you've got the choice to be directly involved, and that's exactly what the ball boy did. Got assist of the match, and it was a brilliant goal as well from Serge Aurier as well. And
the finish was
Mourinho
was
loving it a lot. I think Mourinho gave the biggest celebrations Mourinho gave was Aurier's goal. Like it was like back in America when you've got those soccer coaches or those ice hockey coaches. That's what I'm talking about. Doing something like that sort of celebration.
I think it's because he just finally struck through to him. He's like, "No, you're going out wide. You're going up. Get in the saying get in the box, get the opportunity, and he bang scores his goal." So I was quite proud of him. And then again after the game, Carlos, the fitness coach, just reinforcing that winning mentality by saying, what did he say? He said something like, see, this is it. This is the mentality. Like, we win. Like, something like that. There's no time for celebration. It's instantly just hammering home, right, you've got to be a winner. got to have the mentality, and I love that. That's what they're trying to instill in the dressing room, and you can see why they're serial winners. Because Carlos has been with Mourinho pretty much every club he's been to. I think Porto was probably the only one he wasn't at.
To very quickly say something, what Jose Mourinho has done as well is he's not chosen the same coaches that he's had normally, like the one he had with Chelsea and with Man United. He's gone for something completely different because I think he's
Sacramento is brand new from Lille.
They're new, it's new, it's fresh. This old dinosaur is going for something new. He's not going to something that's clearly outdated.
People forget that Sacramento is now the tactical assistant. So he's basically analysing the players and deciding what works best in terms of football, and then Mourinho just makes the final decisions at the end of the day.
And he's now hired Ledley King as well. Or
exactly.
It might have been Levy, it might have been Mourinho, but Mourinho clearly had to be happy about it, and it looks like he's more than happy to work alongside Ledley King, a defender he's always respected. So
Exactly. So no, all in all, that was a great game. Then final 1-to-1 in this episode was with Delhi. So we had Dyer and Delhi in this, and I thought this was brilliant because Mourinho's calling out Delhi's inconsistency, basically saying that we all know, like, you've got the ability. We know you've got the ability. You showed it a couple of years ago for a couple of seasons back to back. But what separates like a really good player with a lot of potential and then the superstars is the consistency and making sure that happens all the time. And he's basically kind of just convinced Delhi to just open up to him and say, why do you think that is? And if you're with me, I'm going to help you do that. We're going to train, and you've got to train harder, because obviously we saw in the first episode as well, he calls out his laziness in training. So
what I really liked about Mourinho as well is he said something like, I don't want to be the one to demand from you. I want you to demand from you yourself. Yep. Mourinho is a motivator.
He's just top class. I'm watching these episodes and I'm like, I want you to be like my daily coach.
I'm watching these episodes and I want to see a series 2.
Yeah, honestly, I think the guy he's growing. Like, I liked him anyway, but he's growing on me more and more watching these episodes. And I think a good point he also said to him was that he will regret not reaching what he can if he doesn't qualify. I think that really hit home. He was like, what will happen is, but like, you're young, I don't know whether you want to party or blah, blah, blah. He said, trust me, when you get to like my age, you will regret not reaching where you could or where you can.
I think he's making it clear as well. He doesn't want to have like, personal favours or personal favourites. Like he said to Delhi himself, which I don't know why Arsenal football Twitter were twisting those words around. Just stick the subtitles on. But he said, I'm not going to be your dad because you have your dad. Something like that.
They tried to twist it saying you don't have your dad or something like that. Like,
no, just
people clutching at straws, man. People clutching at straws.
Stupid, like bunch of but anyway.
Yeah, I think that was obviously very insightful for that chat. And then finally, the final thing is the Bournemouth game, and I think at halftime again, it's one of the ones where
criticises a weak start despite winning.
Yeah, he said that we need to just be... It's a common theme in all these games so far, is that we need to be more aggressive. Be more aggressive and press harder was the main thing I was seeing throughout the team talks of Mourinho. And then obviously we go on and Sissoko scores a goal, which I remember that as clear as day. That was one of the best moments ever seeing Sissoko finally score a goal. And it pretty much rounds up, and all in all, pretty much very, very positive episode. We had 3 games with 3 wins and 2 1-to-1 chats with players. That was just really, really eye-opening to see Mourinho say, like, look, effectively, with me, I'm going to make you into a superstar. Or like, just be open with me and I'll work with you to make you better and make the team better. Which, again, I just feel like it was a very, very, very positive second episode. And yeah, what do you think of overall of the
positive episode? Obviously, I'm going to be nervous for episode 3, which I got around to watching today. But so far, there's been some very good games. So, like I said at the start of the the introduction, it's all about perception, it's all about perspective. And when I watched this back, Jose Mourinho was even better than how I'd imagine him to be. Like you said just before the recording stopped, it's all about brand this and brand that when he gets cocky at journalists and stuff like that. Mourinho does things behind the scenes, and this is what this series is highlighting for us. The things that goes on behind the scenes, and you see the true colours and the true perspective of that person. And the true perspective of Mourinho is that he's a workaholic that probably doesn't get enough sleep at night because he's busy trying to sort this club out.
100%. I couldn't have summed it up better myself. But yeah, bro, thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, that's the end of reviewing episode 2. So if you want to check out Sam's channel as well, obviously links will be in the description, and while you're at it, check out Offsiders as well. Yeah. Anything you want to say quickly before we hang up, before we leave?
I just want to say very quickly, this episode's that we're doing for reviews and stuff like that, it's just basically show that we're not, like I said, we're not embarrassed with what we're watching. This is a chance for education, and to be honest, I would like to see this about other clubs, even clubs that I don't hear about normally, like Sunderland, for example. I really enjoyed the Netflix, even though, you know, it was a different form of entertainment. I felt it was a bit of a laughing stock, but Amazon aren't here to embarrass us, which I'm very relieved to see. So, you know, buy our stadium, buy our club, pump some more money in, help Mourinho into the job longer. Yeah, that's all I've got to say on that.
Brilliant. All right, guys, leave a comment down below who you want to see in future episodes as we review the series. There's going to be 9 episodes going forward every Monday, releasing 3 new episodes. So make sure to leave a comment on your thoughts on this episode and who you want to see going forward. As well as that, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
No, there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know you